I want you guys to meet my friend Shannon Grace, all 6'1" of her. Shannon is a graduate of Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi, where she lettered in volleyball and later earned her bachelor's degree in accounting and finance. Then she went on to get her master's degree in business administration. Currently, Shannon is in line to take over the family accounting and tax practice. You see, Shannon is a well-educated woman. Nevertheless, she knows absolutely nothing about the sport of boxing, nor the business of boxing. Welcome everyone. This is episode 3 of Protect Yourself at All Times, the series. And this episode is about the boxing manager process. And I'm here today with the beautiful Shannon Grace. How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna go right into it. First question for you. How many rounds are in a championship fight?
12.
Okay, deal. For a 4-round fight with a fighter, let's say, making his pro debut, if you were in negotiations, how much would you go to bat for? How much money? There's no right or wrong answer.
$2 million.
$2 million. It's all good. Okay, so speaking of $2 million, let's say there's a world title fight. You negotiate a world title fight and your client is fighting for a world title on Showtime. How much of a percentage does he pay in sanction fees for fighting for the world title? What's the percentage?
10%.
10%. How much is your fee from a managerial spot? If you were a manager, what would be your fee that you would charge your clients?
If it was me, I would charge a lot more, but reasonable in my mind?
Give me both. Give me what you think is reasonable, and then give me what you would charge.
I would want to say 20%?
Okay.
Reasonable.
That's reasonable. And then what you would charge would be?
35.
35. and why would you charge 35? Like what services would you provide that would take it to 35? Because there has to be something. I mean, if you said, because you said reasonable and then you. So if it's you, what would you do for it to be 35%?
Whatever my job description is.
And what is your? And I'm glad you said that. As far as you know, as a boxing manager, what are 3 things you believe that you're is in your job description? What are you supposed to do as a boxing manager? What's 1?
Negotiate money.
Okay. 2.
Book, certain deals.
Yeah, the fights.
Okay,
book the fights. Okay. And
is that 2 different ones?
No, you
Consider
did.
2 different ones?
This is you. What's the third one?
Third one. Get endorsements.
So you got the gist of it down of what a boxing manager is supposed to do. Shockingly enough, Shannon is actual boxing manager. I thought a couple of questions you were gonna bomb it totally, but you got the gist of it right. She's actually a licensed boxing manager. If you don't mind, show your. I like the way you flipped your hair when you did that. So, explain to us, what was the process like in you getting your boxing manager's license?
Literally, all I did was go online and find the application. It was very basic. My contact information, address, name, social, birth date. Went across to the store, got a money order, and mailed it into the state. And
I take it also was a background check? They did a background check also? Or was there was no background check?
No.
So it was just...
I just submitted application, one-page application.
Okay. And how much was the money order?
$100.
$100. So there was no test or exam that you had to take? No. Did anybody reach out to you from the commission to ask you any questions or follow up about anything?
Not at all.
And there was nothing in the application that was centering in on your expertise, your education, none of that?
As simple as a one-page app and $100.
Let me see the license. Let me make sure that it's... Did you print this out, or is this something that's actually real?
From the state of Texas.
She's an actual licensed boxing manager. There you go. It's not the point that she should not be a manager, but do you agree that to represent professional athletes in a sport that's as major as boxing, do you believe that there should have been more of a process that you had to go through?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Good deal. Good deal. Thank you so much for joining us, Shannon.
You're welcome.
As you guys can see from the interview that we just did with Shannon, the way thing goes in the...
Hi, I'm Shannon, boxing manager. I want to represent the best of the best, so Anthony Joshua, make yourself available, and I'm your girl.
He has management, Anthony Joshua. No, we all good. He actually has management, so that's tampering, by the way. So be
I
careful.
can promise they will not do the things for that man that I can.
Cut. Now, on a serious note, being real about boxing management, one thing I want the fighters and their families to focus in on is that the sport is not associated and there is no union. In other major sports, there are unions and individuals to regulate the agents, which do the same job as the managers in the sport of boxing. Before I became a boxing manager, I was actually a National Basketball Players Association certified agent, which is what you guys may know as a sports agent. And through the NBPA, I had to go through a detailed background check, but then also they checked my credentials, who I negotiated contracts for, and what levels of education that I was on. And now from what I'm hearing, there's a standardized test and even an exam in other sports to actually license the sports agents in those major sports, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, or baseball. In boxing, there is no union. There is no regulation of the managers. And although Shannon is a very smart individual, her knowledge of the boxing business is not there. So having your son or your daughter sign a contract with inexperienced or a novice manager is not to the benefit of your son or your daughter. The same methods, the same ideas that these managers or advisors have when they're recruiting your son or your daughter, they want the best of the best, as Shannon said. They want your son or your daughter to have hundreds of amateur fights or what they call experience. They want your son or your daughter to have all of that, but on their end, they don't have the experience. They don't have the credentials. They don't have the certified license of a union or a players associations to sign off on them becoming a credible boxing manager. So I know a lot of people will probably have something to say about how I went about angling things in this particular episode. However, it's not for me to trash the state commissions, but it's for me to challenge the state commissions to do a better job of licensing and regulating the managers that become responsible or spokespersons for the individuals that make up the sport of boxing as the fighters. For more information on Protect Yourself at All Times, visit www.PYaAT.org.